My name is Gonzalo Barrientos. The individuals here are present for a very important part of what's to happen in Austin, hopefully. The City Council created a process by appointing this committee called the Charter Revision Committee. That was to determine, with public input, of course, the recommendations on ways to improve our city government for the coming years. Our committee met 11 times, took testimony from hundreds of witnesses, and has made 19 recommendations. Overwhelmingly, the testimony concerning the changes were about how we elect our city council members and a commission to draw the lines. The committee votes were 14-1 to end the present at-large system of electing city council members. 15-0, 15 members voted for some form of 10 districts. And overwhelmingly, 11-4 for an independent citizens district commission to draw those lines. We'll discuss the details in a little while, but let me introduce one of our committee members, Dolores Lindsay Jones, who will elaborate briefly, and then we'll take questions at the end after several other speakers.
Lindsay Jones, and it's been my distinct honor to serve on the Charter Review Committee. We are very committed to a workable solution for all Austinites within the city. Since 1971, African Americans and Hispanics have had representation on the City Council based on a gentleman's agreement. It is high time that we have change, and this new 10-1 plan will provide Austinites 10 geographical districts to assure African American opportunity districts and Hispanic opportunity district, all elected by them. Anything less will not pass muster with the Department of Justice, and we need your help to ensure that we have a fair system for our city's people. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your support.
We're going to have somebody to draw the lines, and to explain some of that of the redistricting commission, independent commission, Fred Lewis.
Hi, I'm Fred Lewis. I'm a member of the Charter Review Commission. The commission overwhelmingly, it was 12-2, voted to have an independent redistricting commission of citizens to draw the lines for the single-member districts. It is an integral part of the recommendation for single-member districts, because if we adopt a fairer system of geographic representation, but we allow politicians and their political consultants to draw the lines, then they can undermine the fair representation that we all seek and the representation of all parts of the city of Austin. Austinites know better, almost than anyone in the United States, how politician-drawn lines and gerrymandering are unfair. We've seen it at the state level in Austin. We've seen it at the federal level. So we are recommending a charter revision. The commission is recommending an independent citizens redistricting commission based on the California model. It ensures fair and independent commissioners and mandatory guidelines that the commission must follow. 1992 or 94, back 20 years or so ago, single-member districts almost passed. It got 48% of the vote. And we think with an independent redistricting commission, the citizens of Austin will pass single-member districts this time. Thank you.
Another member of our commission was Kathy Vale to point out several other factors of the 10-1.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Kathy Vale. I was appointed by Mike Martinez. And I just want to say you're going to hear two words repeated throughout this press conference: fair representation. And to ring that fact home, I just want to point out a very stark statistic. that still stays with me after our work is finished. And this map is something that you can look at while I share this statistic with you, that for the past 41 years, 55% of Austin city elected officials have come from only 4 zip codes: 01, 03, 31, and 59. Combined, those 4 zip codes represent only 10% of the city. And what that means is the other 90% of us that don't reside in those 4 zip codes have had only 45% of the voice on council. That to me is something that just can no longer continue. And one thing, after hearing testimony and after testimony from so many citizens all over the city who were so strongly behind the 10-1 plan, I came away, I have great faith and trust in the citizens of Austin to see the fairness issue and to be ready to move completely away from the gentleman's agreement to geographic representation. I'm excited for the opportunity. I think Austin has such a tremendous reputation of leading the way, of being a pioneer in so many issues in the state and in the country, but on this issue, we are woefully behind, and it's time we catch up, and I think the city's ready for it. Austinites are ready for it, and I'm excited about it.
As much as a lot of people don't want to admit it, racism is a fundamental part of the way Austin has done business since the beginning. You've just heard proof of that. For whatever reason, 2012 is emerging as the year when many organizations are coming together to eliminate racism from Austin. The Charter Revision Commission, the Austinites for Geographic Representation, the new Activate Austin movement, the NAACP, and a lot of others. The Austin Human Rights Commission, which today joins that list, has the charter of defending our citizens against discrimination in the areas of housing, public accommodations, and employment. But it also has the charter of educating Austinites on issues of discrimination such as racism. At our February meeting, the Human Rights Commission voted to support the 10-1 plan for the geographic election of city council members by unanimously passing a resolution in favor of that plan for all the reasons you have heard and will hear here. I stand here proudly representing the Human Rights Commission and its commitment to work with everyone in removing racism as a factor in the way things work here in Austin. Thank you.
Here, here.
Yeah. This is a broad spectrum of the citizens of Austin. Let me introduce Mr. Roger Boekelt, who will speak on the different points and aspects.
Thank you, Senator. I'm Roger Boekelt. I'm Vice Chairman of the Travis County Republican Party, and I'm one of the charter members, I guess you would say, of Austinites for Geographic Representation. We are here because the system we have for electing our representatives in City Council is not a grown-up system. It was created in 1953 specifically to prevent people from the minority community from electing their own representatives to the City Council, and the current citywide election system has been sustained by a gentleman's agreement which, for most of the last 35 years, has resulted in one representative for both the Hispanic and African American communities, and those representatives are chosen not by those communities, but by the city as a whole. In a sense, it's a system where those communities can have any representative they want as long as everyone else in the whole city agrees. 10-1 is our plan. It's the only plan that will provide both African American and Hispanic district representation. It's the only plan that will allow people to choose their own representative from their own neighborhood, to choose a representative from the people that they shop with, that they go to church with, that they go to the grocery store with. It's the only one that actually creates an opportunity district that has enough districts to create an opportunity district so that an African American can actually win a seat. 10-1 will also create at least 2 and possibly more Hispanic opportunity districts. It will create districts where there's a possibility, and it's the only plan that will create a district where there is even a possibility that an Asian American might conceivably be able to win from their own district. We have had a system whereby the city as a whole has paternalistically decided that we all know better than what representative democracy would provide, which is that the people in the neighborhoods of Austin deserve to have their own representatives representing them. So as a representative of the Republican Party, I asked for the support of the Travis County Republican Party Executive Committee, which voted 75-1 in favor of this plan. And we're very happy to say that as a member of AGR and a representative of the party, we're behind 10-1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Another member of the Austinites for Geographic Representation, Elisa May.
Good morning. I'm delighted that you're here with us to help us carry our very important message out to the city. When everyone is responsible for everything, no one is responsible for anything. Got that? Amen. If you need a stoplight at a street crossing or need to deal with crime in your neighborhood park and all council members are elected citywide, who do you go see? If you have a traffic issue or zoning issue in your council member and your council member lives in another part of town, who do you approach? In fact, who represents you and your neighbors if all the council members represent 800,000 people in the city of Austin? And no one ever lived in your part of town or have any idea what the problems you and your neighbors face. If they are all responsible for the problems, who can worry about just your neighborhood's problems? It is not true that district council members will only care about their districts. U.S. congressmen, Texas senators, state representatives, commissioners, all routinely discuss issues of concern beyond the boundaries of their districts. They all discuss taxes, they all discuss budgets, they all discuss water policy, transportation, and health care. The idea that an Austin City Council member elected from a district would be so simple-minded that they would only discuss and understand issues in their district is insulting and is an elitist argument. All other major U.S. cities are governed by geographic representation. Austin is simply too big to continue any at-large representation. Austin is out of step with other U.S. cities and other large cities. Austin residents and neighborhoods are ready and want geographic representation. Thank you.
Leader of the city of Austin for many years, Ora Houston. Be nice to her, I used to work for her mom.
You have heard a lot of information about the Charter Revision Commission and the process that they went to make sure that the input was received from all citizens of Austin. Now I ask you to trust the process. They went through the process, and now we as citizens of Austin, as members of the City Council, need to trust that process. This is the first plan that came from the grassroots up, a very diverse coalition of folks from LULAC, the NAACP, my friends in the Republican Party, all kinds of coalitions came together in support of this 10-1 plan. I want everyone to be assured that we will continue to collect signatures to ensure that the voters of Austin have an opportunity to vote on this plan. Thank you.
Before we have Nelson Linder to close, let me go around and state your name, who you're with, so that everybody can get introduced. You got Nelson Linder, he'll speak in a minute.
Richard McCain, Constable Precinct 3, Travis County.
Debbie Russell, School Board of Del Valle ISD.
William Stout, Travis County Green Party.
Stacy Six, Treasurer, Austin Geographic Representation.
Davino Fernandez, El Concilio, and District 12 Director for LULAC.
Sylvia Benini, Occupy Austin.
Fidel Acevedo, the Mexican American Democrats.
Tom Davis, Chair of the Austin Human Rights Commission.
Susana Almanza Poder.
Richard Franklin, School Board Member, Del Valle, and Del Valle Coalition.
John Lawler, University of Texas Student Government.
Daniel Llanes, East Austin Voter Mobilization Initiative.
DeForest Lindsay Jones, Charter Revision Committee. Kathy Vale, Charter Revision Committee.
Charlie Jackson, Austin Businessman.
Fred Lewis, Charter Revision Commission.
Elisa May, Austinites for Geographic Representation.
Frances McIntyre, longtime community volunteer.
Rosemary Edwards, Travis County Republican Party Chairman.
Roger Borgeld, AGR, and Travis County Republican Party Vice Chairman.
Or a Houston longtime member of this community and lived under this system for too long.
Timothy Bradbury, Central Texas Republican Assembly, member of the coalition.
Mike Rodriguez, Travis County Republican Party, and a precinct chairman in South Austin and Honey Creek.
Alicia Perez, I'm here with the League of United Latin American Citizens and also with ABLA.
Paul Saldana with the ABLA organization, Hispanic Advocates Business Leaders of Austin.
And I'm especially glad to see John Lawler here from the University of Texas because, believe it or not, the University of Texas students in that area over there need geographic representation too, and the young people.
Yes.
Nelson Lender, would you come and help us close?
Good morning. I want to thank my colleagues for a lot of hard work in this whole process, and I'll be very brief. First, let me say, when I was appointed to this commission almost 6 months ago, I was very clear about my assignment. I knew the role, the goal, and why I was here. It's very clear after 6 months of intensive discussion in this city, in every part of the city, that our recommendation is the best recommendation available, the 10-1 plan. It also answers all the questions of the Voting Rights Act, where you're talking about reapportionment or redistricting. It's a very sound plan. But I will say I'm very disappointed because, in my opinion, our final recommendation says it all. If you read this report, it's very clear about what we talked about, what we thought about, what we considered important. In the name of Arthur B.D. Whitty, who started this process in 1951, asking for a fair representation process, and Valma Overton, who fought for 30 years to do the same thing, I feel very honored to say today, this is a historical process. And this time, thanks to the buy-in from every political organization out there, we were diverse in every possible way. I think we're very honorable in the process. We played fair throughout the process. It's very, very clear. It's time for change. So I would encourage our city council, and by the way, I'm not a paid consultant, I'm not a lobbyist, I'm just a civil rights guy. And I'm saying to you, please adopt the recommendation. Let's do this the right way. Make the city a better city so we can join the 21st century and make sure everybody in this town has fair and equal representation. Thank you very much.
Importantly, we ask the City Council to vote on 10-1 before the election for City Council and place this on the ballot in November. Any questions, or if anybody is compelled to say anything else?
Well, compelled, I guess is the word. I'm the director for LULAC. And I want to thank Mary and Roger for joining us at the Capitol the last two sessions as we were trying to get single-member districts through the legislative process. I want to thank all of the other people that participated with us through that process. It is, again, like someone mentioned, Austin continues to operate weird. And weird, like Fidel Acevedo at one time mentioned, unfortunately is racist. And it continues to be. LULAC being one of the 86 largest, for 86 years being the largest national civil rights organization, was not even invited to the table to be part of this commission. But that's, we've dealt with that. And we'll continue to deal with that. The only issue that I think that while all of us are doing all this legwork, what's even more important is that we get our people to go out and vote.
Yeah.
Because we can be here promenading and, posturing and everything, but if we don't go door to door and get our people, specifically our families, to go out and vote, all of this is going to be null and void. Thank you.
I might add that we had about 19 meetings all around the city and asked anyone to come out and participate, including LULAC, including the neighborhood organizations, the University of Texas students, etc. Any questions? Anybody else?
Well, let me say, I'll make something real quick, I'll make it brief.
What's your name?
Hi, Paul Saldana with ABLA. I want to speak briefly as a former council aide for 10 years, to one of the minority council members. There's an unspoken word here at City Hall, at least at the old City Hall, maybe here too. You have this perception, public perception from the dais, that each of the council members on the dais represent everybody in Austin. That is not true. I can personally attest to that, having worked for former Mayor Gus Garcia for 10 years. When issues were raised that were perceived to be black or brown, it was incumbent upon the black or brown council member to deal with that issue. Otherwise, the issue was simply not dealt with. So this system has to change, and I wholeheartedly support single-member districts. Thank you.
Keep it on subject.
Senator, come on. I'm Richard McCain, Collinsville 3. Stop silencing the vote of the outskirt areas of our city. This is one thing, is you actually, current plan we have in place, the voting, is that it silences all the voices in the outskirts of the Austin area. With the gentrifying of central Austin area, you basically forced all your minorities and your poor to the outskirt areas. At this time, they have no voice. They don't have a representative in the city council at all that truly hears them, that actually walks with them. As the senator said, and all my colleagues here said, you have silenced the city of Austin. You're only getting one voice, and that's from Senator. Please vote. And I was one plea to my outside South Austin people, come out and vote. You want a chance, this is your chance. Vote, speak out, and represent. Thank you.
The commission will present its report to the city council at 10:30 this morning. We ask everyone to go up there and observe and participate in our democracy in our weird, great city of Austin.